here, Dan!
What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be continuing the Nightmare on Elm Street review series, and we are on the movie that people point to as the beginning of the end, Freddy Krueger, A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Child. This film was a rushed sequel by New Line. Basically, Dream Master, after the release of Dream Master, it was the highest grossing film in the franchise at that point until the release of Freddy vs. Jason in 2003. And New Line they saw those numbers and they were like, let's get a sequel out. Let's hurry up. Let's get the next movie in production. And it shows, man. It shows in this movie how Freddy looks and how he acts, man. Like, it makes no sense. You have that return of Alice Johnson in this film, and I've given my thoughts on her in my previous review. Dan returns as well, as they are parents, they have a baby together, and new characters introduced here since the previous characters were killed off. I don't know, man. It's just something about this movie. It just doesn't click for me. It doesn't click at all. So let's get into it. As far as what I like about Dream Child, there are some moments here that work for me, especially with Freddy. The moment in the opening when Freddy's reborn, Freddy stands on top of the podium and he's behind Alice. That shot of him putting his hat back on, and he gives this line, "It's a boy!" He gives that line, and then moments later Amanda Krueger returns, and basically she's trying to tell Alice something, and Freddy, he's just showing his behind, showing his ass, really. He gives a rebuttal or gives a quip of saying, "We'll see, bitch.
We'll just see."
There are some Freddy moments here that I like. There are some moments, some redeeming qualities. The idea of the premise of Freddy coming back through a baby's dream is a cool idea. It's a cool, interesting element, never been done before, never been seen before. Freddy comes back through Alice and Dan's child, through the dreams of the baby. There's a scene in the hospital where Alice sees this random kid. She doesn't know it yet, but that's her son. That's Jacob. We're gonna get more into that later, why it doesn't fully work for me. But again, the idea of Freddy being reborn through a baby's nightmare is great. Sticking with the baby element, baby Freddy himself is a cool and creepy design. When Alice is having a nightmare, basically towards the beginning of the film, Alice is the witness to the birth of Freddy Krueger. You have the nurses. It's a funny reaction, low key, because you have the doctor in there and the nuns, the nurses or whatever, and they're telling her to push, and she does, and there's just silence because they're trying to figure out what on earth did this lady give birth to. And we're like, as an audience, it leads the audience to believe, okay, it's not that bad. And then you get the reveal of baby Freddy, and you're like, holy shit. Like, whoa, yeah, okay, like that's definitely a baby. It's definitely a baby. But yeah, man, the baby Freddy look is cool. I like that. The return of Amanda Krueger is welcome for me. It gives this movie something. Storyline returns from Dream Warriors. It was kind of absent in Dream Master. But yeah, Amanda Krueger's back. We learn more about what happened to her in great detail. And we even get a scene, with Alice having a nightmare about Amanda Krueger, or seeing what Amanda Krueger went through, and she changes places. Basically, she's in the nun outfit, and she's on the floor with all the inmates after the orderlies or wardens or whatever in the asylum just rush count all the inmates and forget that there is someone else in there. There's not an inmate. They left someone behind, and that's how Amanda Krueger was. Like I said, it's a welcome return for the character of Amanda Krueger. And finally, the effects here in Dream Child are pretty great. There are some great effects here. The main one for me being the Dan's death scene. He's on a motorcycle, and he's trying to get to Alice, and basically he turns into like a humanoid motorcycle guy or whatever. The motorcycle starts to pry into him, little wires and things, and like the motorcycle creates a face. It's Freddy, and he's spitting out one-liners talking about fuel injection, power drive, fast lane. But yeah, man, great scene, great effect, great sequence, and I dig it. I dig it a lot. You also have the death scene of Greta. You know, Greta's death sequence. Basically, the whole thing with Greta is she wants to be a supermodel or whatever. You know, she cares about her body image, and what her mother does. Her mother is very overbearing and making sure that her daughter looks model like. You know, making sure she keeps her appearance up. That plays a part in her death scene. You know, with Freddy basically feeding Greta, you know, her own body parts, whatever. Freddy just has the little chef hat on or whatever, and he gives the
Bon appetit!
line. You know, basically in real life, Greta chokes to death. She's at the dinner table with all of her mom's friends or whatever, and basically she gets up, she's gasping for air, choking, and she just falls flat on the table. She's dead. And I didn't even mention Mark's death scene. Mark's death scene could have been a cool kill. Towards the end of Mark's death, Freddy just slices the comic book version of Mark up in pieces. And I guess initially Mark was gonna be cut up in real life, but I guess they settled with him being crushed to death. Like I said, cool effects here. Some of the effects are cool. Some of them are cool. Now, as far as what I didn't like about Dream Child, first and foremost, Freddy Krueger himself. He's not bad as in like Freddy's dead bad, but this is the start of things to come. The makeup here is awful. It's like the worst. One of the worst makeup jobs here for Freddy. I guess Robert Englund was like, hey guys, so makeup chair time. Can it be shortened? And I guess they obliged and they just kind of shortened the process. The thing that makes Freddy scary or makes the character work is when Robert Englund transforms in the makeup chair. And I feel like in this film, and especially Freddy's Dead, he doesn't transform. And it just looks cheap. It looks like it's just the thin layers just applied on his face, you know, just to get the shot done and ready. And I guess that was part of the rush production as well. You know, they wanted to push this movie out as soon as possible after the success of Dream Master, rushed through everything, and we got this. And it just, no, it just doesn't work for me. It looks terrible. Makeup looks awful, and how Freddy acts as well, overly comedic. Like he's just trying to just say things just to say things, just to see what sticks to the wall and what doesn't. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I get that New Line bought into their own hype, and basically Freddy just became a parody. He became a parody of himself. Freddy works better when he's both comedic and scary, and you don't get this here. Alice's new friends as well, not interesting in the slightest. They don't add anything. You know, you have Yvonne, you have Greta, and you have Mark, who is the comic book nerd. Like I said, these characters add nothing here. They're all pretty much expendable. I'm surprised Yvonne survived. She could have got it, but I guess they needed somebody to go to the asylum in the end of the film and find Amanda Krueger while Alice is in the dream world trying to bait Freddy to a fight or whatever. As mentioned before, you have the kid version of Jacob, and I just don't find that storyline interesting. You know, I even though I said I like the idea of Freddy being reborn through Jacob's dream or nightmares, if you will, it just, the dynamic with him and Alice, Jacob and Alice, it just doesn't work. You know, him being resentful towards her a little bit, towards Alice, by saying that you don't want me. It feels like you don't want me. The man with the funny hand, he's my friend, and he treats me better than you, or something along the lines of what he was talking about. But you know, that it just doesn't work for me. You know, and towards the end of the film, when he turns into Freddy, man, not turn completely into him, but has little makeup on his face and starts to talk like Freddy. It's basically what happens is Freddy emerges from Alice. You know, they had that cool effect as well. I forgot to mention with Freddy's face growing out of Alice's face. But after that, Amanda Krueger arrives, and basically Jacob tricks Freddy. And so he turns around, he has the little Freddy makeup on his face. He started to talk like Freddy, and he's like,
let's go. I want to learn stuff from you. She's no fun anymore. Teach me.
I'm like, bro, like what? What? This cringy, bro. This is a cringe moment. But anyways, the ruse works. Jacob spits something out of his mouth at Freddy, and basically the victims of this movie, which is 3, by the way. This film has 3 kills, mind you, pry out of his back. And basically they pry out far enough for baby Freddy to reappear. And then you have the emergence of baby Jacob, and Amanda picks up baby Freddy, Alice picks up baby Jacob, and the souls of the babies or whatever enter their moms respectfully. And Amanda tells Alice to go, she'll be okay. And I like this shot here, because you get the glove prying out of Amanda's chest, and she's struggling with it, and the camera's rushing down the hallway, and as each time the camera passes the doorway, the door slams behind it or it breaks through or whatever. But I love that shot. But like I said, man, that the storyline between Jacob and Alice is just uninteresting to me, very uninteresting, and it just does nothing for me. It does nothing. And I mentioned the ending too, with the 3 victims prying out of Freddy's back. It feels like a ripoff. It feels like a total ripoff of the previous film's ending, with all the arms and things prying out of Freddy in that film. In this film, you had 3 victims just prying out of his back. But ladies and gentlemen, those are my thoughts and opinions about Dream Child. Let me know what you think about this film. If this one is one of your favorites, if you like this movie, let me know that. Because I don't see how people like this entry. But if you do, let me know why down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content as I'm trying to finish this franchise and eventually add more to this channel if time permits for me. And until next time, guys, I'm Bran. Thanks for watching. Peace.